YouTube. How's everyone doing? Jags to Riches, James Peters, thank you all so much for your time. Malcolm Brogdon and Danilo Gallinari were officially introduced yesterday. And in that 30-plus minute press conference, it, like I said, featured both Brogdon, Gallo, and of course Brad Stevens. First off, I highly recommend it. I watched it earlier on CLNS Media, and there were a few takeaways, let's say, a few different things that Brad Stevens in particular actually mentioned that really drew my attention and my interest in, and something I wanted to just kind of potentially follow up on because they are very intriguing questions. Now, before I get going, guys, really into it, Boston Celtics did win our Summer League game last night against the Golden State Warriors 103-92. We are now 2-1 in the Summer League. One more game coming up against Memphis. And again, Mafidou Kabengele was phenomenal. I mean, 20 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks. He hit a 3, 6 for 11 from the field. Yeah, I think that it's safe to say if anyone makes it off of this team, it is him. He's been strong, consistent, and in a position of need for us. Johan Begarom again flashed some strong potential with his 21 and 6. Double-digit scoring, I believe, in every single game. Strong rebounding. Justin Jackson, who was just signed before Game 2, 24 points. I believe he had 10 off the bench in Game 2. J.D. Davison, 5 points. He did have 9 assists, but he did have also 3 turnovers, 2 for 8 from the field. Again, these younger guards with both Begaroni and Davison have flashed at times, and you can see the potential. Roger Thomas actually also had 18. Sam Hauser, Matt Ryan, guys along those lines actually did not play. But again, congratulations to the Boston Celtics. Keep your eye on Kabengele. Again, that guy is for real. But basically what I'm going to do, guys, is you'll see I'll have the clip that I'm going to be referring to briefly play. It's going to maybe be like 10 to 15 seconds. And then, like I said, you'll see me follow up. So
were there any conversations after this trade with Marcus Smart? I know when you bring in someone of Malcolm's caliber, it could be perceived as a threat to the current starting point guard. What was the process of letting Smart know about this move and what the roles were going to be?
Yeah, from my standpoint, it's what I just said, John. Like everybody knows, what the goal is.
The first one right there is basically, it's a question that just kind of reiterated what we are about to deal with throughout this upcoming season, right? Marcus Smart is going to be under such a microscope where any bad performance, any bad game, it's going to be bench him, trade him, Brogdon. Like, as you can see, it's already a question being asked. Like, basically, when you're bringing in a point guard of the pedigree of Malcolm Brogdon, did you call up Smart just to let him know so it wasn't like a red flag because am I being replaced? And obviously Brad, it kind of almost seemed like he was not too happy with the questions. Like, well, just kind of like what I just said. Everyone knows what we're here to do, right? Yeah, I mean, and it is true. It's like this team was knocking on the doors of a championship. We had a fourth quarter lead with 5 minutes to go in that game 4 to potentially take a 3-1 lead. So it's kind of like, imagine a Brogdon and a Gallo on that same team, right? Go listen to what Draymond Queen had to say about it and just the impact, the options he now provides. So it just sucks because it really is going to be this huge Brogdon versus Smart, and they are going to push that damn narrative so much instead of just embracing the fact that we just got 2 of the better point guards in the league. I mean, I've been on the record and I'll continue to say, yes, I think Brogdon is a better point guard than Marcus Smart. Like, if I was a GM and I could only take one, I mean, as soon as they traded for Brogdon, he basically became the 3rd best player on this team, right? He's the only guy on this team besides the Jays that has averaged over 20 points, right? I mean, Smart, his career is a 13. Derek White, 14 or 15. I mean, etc. So it's like, he's a guy that can score 20 points, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6+ assists. Marcus Smart's career high in assist, I believe, is 5.9. Brogdon's done that 2 out of the last 3 years, and the other year, I think he averaged damn near 7. So much better shooter, nearly a 40% 3-point shooter, excellent facilitator, can slow the game down, can play make, and actually he can just create for our stars, and he's not what Smart is on the defensive end, but he's no slouch, right? I mean, the fact that we've got Brogdon, Smart, and Derek White as like our three main guards, and what they are as two-way, especially on the defensive end, their switchability. And I mean, that's very exciting, but it just sucks because Smart used to always be under so much pressure when Smart, trade Smart, and now it's just going to be, seems like it's going to be even worse. But looking at the next clip.
But one of the things that I thought would be good is if we gave ourselves more options with a quote small lineup. Obviously, we're not small when you talk about Danilo and Malcolm. They're big guys, but they're very skilled, and so they're able to space the floor and play that way. And it just gives us even more options in certain scenarios and certain substitution patterns, and even, sometimes start games, start halves if you want to.
It kind of seems like, and this is something I hinted at in I believe it was the breaking news, my immediate reaction to the Malcolm Brogdon trade. It's kind of like Brogdon is too damn good of a player to really sit on the bench. Like, how long realistically do we think that he is going to be a six man, right? This is a guy that's a 26-6, 40% 3-point shooter, as he states. I mean, he's respected around the league. I mean, he's the real deal, right? I mean, he's a top 15 point guard, right? He's one of the better two-way point guards in the game, and definitely elevates our position and overall, without question. Now, just the thought of him and Smart, obviously with the Jays, and then Rob, Al Horford will be turning 37. I think he's turning 36. So he'll be playing 36, turning 37 this upcoming season. And we saw how important he was to this team, especially down the stretch. And, preserving him and his body, I don't second guess him. He's got the recipe down, right, on how to take care of himself. But if you can aid him and cut back on his minutes or his games in any way, you do that, right? And it sounds like Brad's basically saying that. He keeps hinting and using the word small, basically saying we weren't able to do that in the past based on, the roster, but now we basically are more equipped. And he says, those guys aren't small. Obviously not. Somebody mentioned about Brogdon playing, a wing back up when needed. It's like, yeah, shit, that guy's what, 6'5 plus, 220. I mean, he's got some size, and the Gallows is 6'10, 240 stretch, point stretch, forward, whatever you want to call him. I mean, he's a bucket. So, again, it is one of those things where it was the best starting five last year. I get all that. But it just kind of sounds like, he's hinting at, you could see, as he says, you have options at this point. And of course, it doesn't really matter as much about who starts as it does who finishes. And that's what I think is extremely interesting. And make no mistake, to begin the year, you'll see the same starting five as last year: Brogdon in the 6, Derek in the 7, Grant in the 8, or Gallo in Grant in the 8 and 9, etc. Like, that's what you will see without question. My thought is, like, as the year continues, and does Ime try to play around with shit like Brad used to? Ime was very strict and disciplined to his rotation even early on last year. Let's see if there's some flexibility there. This, maybe it was a learning experience, first year head coach, as brilliant as a job as he did. But it's more so about who finishes, because when you think of Smart, Brogdon, obviously Jalen and Jason, take those two out, they're there. But Smart, Brogdon, Rob, Al, it's like, which of those four, who's the one guy that is not going to be? I mean, is it situational? I mean, maybe. If you're playing against, the Bucks, you definitely need to have Al. If you need to get a rebound, you put Al and Robin. If it's a shooting situation, I mean, the options again are endless, and it's extremely impressive. And all I can say is October cannot come quick enough.
Though we started big most of last year, with Al and Rob, we oftentimes would play one of them. I think, like I said earlier, we're better set up to play quote smaller, but we're still looking, and we'll still add at least one more body, at that, whatever we call the 5 position nowadays.
But that final clip, I mean, that's basically what my video was about yesterday, where I kind of went into some more of the front court options and I mentioned LaMarcus Aldridge, Boogie Cousins, Aaron Baines reunion. Some people mentioned Hassan Whiteside. There's what's up with Montrezl Harrell? Is he still available? So, there's guys like that are still out there. And it does sound like, as Brad says, they will add one more, center, if that's what, as he's, it's kind of as he's joking around with the front court player, essentially. And that kind of goes back to, and to give some context, to be fair, in that actual entire clip, he does shout out Luke Cornett. He gives him a lot of props and praise, and he does say that they expect him to answer the call on an elevated role this year. Like, they expect him to, to provide, so in the minutes that he actually will get. So they say they think it's time, and they think that he's ready. So I believe that he definitely deserves his shot. So, why not? He was great in the G League last year, and, he provides an interesting skill set, especially for a 7-foot big. So why not? It'll be intriguing to see. It sounds like they're gearing up. You got 5 more days till that TPE expires, but it sounds like they might be gearing up to actually let it fly with that TPE and bring in a potential 5, or if not, maybe it's some of the options that I discussed in yesterday's video about, potentially bringing in someone on a 1-year deal. I'm sure they've got several conversations going on right now, but again, guys, excellent game last night with the win over Golden State in the Summer League, 2-1. Final game 4 against Memphis coming up. Shout out to Mafidu Cavangeli, Matt Ryan, Justin Jackson now, Johan Begaron. We've seen some flashes, man. I'm excited about these young guys and what's next for a lot of them. But that intro presser, 30-plus minutes, definitely recommended. It was really good. Now, of course, it's, the generic, what can you offer? What was it like getting the call? What's it like playing for an organization like Boston? And Brad joking about recruiting Brogdon back, in high school and, things along those lines. So, but then at the very end, a lot of what I'm covering right now, it's like all kind of towards the back end of it, where Brad starts sneaking in those, like, well, we're definitely going to sign one more center. You could see multiple starting lineups now that we have a smaller, it's, so a lot of those little gems and nuggets started come flying in late, and it kind of got me up like, oh shit, wait a minute. Okay, Brad, like, because this is something we were just talking about, and it was just some dialogue in the comment section of my of the Brogdon video, because I asked that same question. It's like, who finishes? Who's the? And that's my question, guys. So not as much who starts, who the hell is going to be finishing out of those 6 guys I mentioned. And not even to mention our guys Derek White and Grant on the outside looking in, like they're scrubs. Derek White is the real deal as well. Shit, let's not act like he wasn't just a starter a year ago in San Antonio, averaging like 15, 4 and 4, being a pest on the defensive end. I mean, but anyways, yeah, out of those 6 guys, Marcus, Brogdon, the Jays, Al, Rob, who are the 5 that you think most likely would be finishing the game if everyone's healthy? And you can choose the situation and just explain it to me. I mean, just I'm open to anything. I'm just kind of curious, right? Because Brad kind of made it sound like we could see some interesting things this year from the Celtics, and with that roster, that and the potential rotation that he has built for Ime and this championship team, or this this ECF finals winning, 2 damn games away. 1 good game away from being up 3-1 Boston Celtics team. That is, we're knocking on the door, guys. We really are. And like I said, I love the position that Brad has put us in, and I'm very excited for the future. I really am. I cannot wait. In July, that sucks. At least fantasy football is next month, but October seems like it's a long ass way away. So again, I appreciate you all so much. Definitely check us out on TikTok. Those videos have been awesome. I'm not as big on that, but Bobby's Bobby's the man. He's got a setup over there, and it's been a lot of fun, those videos that we've actually been doing. If you want to get a little bit more of the summer league game, check us out on Celtics Corner. Bobby did a full reaction. He does them to every single one of the he basically did it for every one of the players on the roster in summer league and every one of the games. So if you need some more info on that, go check him out. But otherwise, guys, thank you all so much for your time. Jags to Riches, James Peters, have an excellent conclusion to your day.